Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Weird World Podcast.
Hi.
Jack's voice. Jack's hitting puberty.
I'm Carrie.
Oh, I'm Jack.
I'm Dean.
And Dean's. This is actually a weird bit.
Yes,
It is an addition of a weird bit.
Stop it. They always make fun of me.
No, I'm actually not making fun of you. I'm making fun of Mom being so mad at that because that makes no sense.
Yeah.
She does get very angry.
I don't like that.
No,
it's not
I
what
don't.
this is.
Okay.
It is.
It's a podcast, not a periodical.
Oh, girl.
I don't. She's very adamant
Yeah.
about this.
Yeah.
Okay.
'Kay.
Well, then it's an episode, Care.
Yeah, it is.
All right.
Tell us about something weird.
It is weird, but not weird in any traditional sense. It's weird in hindsight, I guess. Let's talk about it. Our subject is a person named Robert Pakington. I hope I'm
Pakington?
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. It's Pakington. Pakington? There's no C there.
Pakington
so-
or Packington.
Or Pack-
That's why I don't think it's
Pakington.
Pakington, because there's no C there. It's just P-A-K.
Yeah.
Pakington.
Let's go with Pakington.
Sure.
Mr.
P.
No, we're not going to do that. He's born around 1489, they think.
Whoa.
So we're going way back.
That's
Wow.
too far back. I don't even know them.
No, you know what? No one does. But he was born in a West Midlands town called Stanforn in Team. So Stanforn
Okay.
dash in dash T-E-M-E.
I
England has a lot
love
of
that.
those weird village names. That,
Yeah, Stratford upon Avon.
yeah, that's
all
actually,
of those.
but Stanforn in Team, I don't know what those
No.
words mean.
That's weird.
Maybe back then they meant
Oh, I'm sure they meant something.
different things. You know, the old people, the English.
The old ways. It was near the Welsh border.
Oh, that
So
explains it.
northerly.
Although it's still in England,
it?
I don't think it's Welsh. So now there'd be 11 L's and a
Yeah.
couple of
Yeah.
W's if it's Welsh.
Yo,
So
go. That one town.
that one. That's the,
No, you know that one, the longest
yeah,
town name ever?
I do. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous. It's unpronounceable, and they're just doing it out of just to be dicks, in my opinion. It's like the Hawaiian word that has,
You mean huma huma nuka nuka apawa'a?
oh my God.
The state fish?
Yes,
It's
that
incredibly
one.
easy to pronounce.
No, it's not. I still
I
can't
just
do
did
it.
it.
You can do it 7 times. I won't be able to repeat it. Just,
Well, that's
and
your
there's
fault.
like and 21 of the 23 letters are vowels. Just that's wrong.
That makes it
So-
easier. Anyway.
You just sound like you're stuttering. So the family, the Pakingtons, had a long, genteel history. They had been from, the upper class there, but his mom, Elizabeth Washburn, was an heiress. So she brought some more cash to the marriage with Robert's dad, something I still regret not thinking about before I got married. Like, I should have married. I'm just saying. Present company excluded. I'm just saying that would have been a good plan. Wait, what? Anyway,
Sir.
Because you brought so much to the marriage.
I brought
Ooh.
charm and...
Are you saying I wasn't charming?
Damn it, I should stop talking.
Yeah, you're digging. Oh.
So the Elizabeth and husband, I can't remember his name, had 4 sons.
I love that, though.
Yeah, that
The
is good.
turntables.
Yeah.
John, Humphrey, Robert, and Augustine. They also had 3 daughters, Joyce, Eleanor, and Marjorie.
Eleanor.
Joyce.
You have a problem
Whoa.
with Joyce?
That
you picked out
doesn't-
Joyce?
That doesn't sound like a 1400s
No, it
kind
really
of
doesn't.
name.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
that's
right.
true.
That's a 1970s name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it kind of is.
I'm waiting for Katie.
His sister, Marjorie and
Courtney.
Katrina.
Courtney.
Money. They spent a lot of money. They get the kids educated. They sought to have influence in the court and things like that. Trying to, make a life for them.
Sure.
It's the old way of paying for college.
Can you tell me who was the king at the time or the queen?
When our story takes place, it'll be King Henry VIII, as a matter of fact, but it's not yet. King Henry VIII
Okay.
took over 15, 20-ish?
Bitch.
I
I don't know.
You
Maybe
asked
a
the
little before that.
wrong one.
No, Carrie she has to have watched something on BBC or something that, has up the historical
You're the history buff.
trend.
I know all about his wives, but I don't remember the years.
Something like that.
Justice for Anne Boleyn.
Yeah.
R.I.P. So the John, the eldest son, so Robert's older brother, he in fact would go on to become a lawyer and would serve in the court, rising so high, it is said, that King Henry VIII allowed him to wear a hat in his presence. And that was like
Oh.
special permission. It was a big deal. I like you. You may keep your hat on, sir. That kind of thing.
Weird.
Like a high school teacher.
Kind of. Robert, being younger, he was sent away in an apprenticeship, which was common even for upper crust families to do. They would often strategically choose sort of what field they go into. Sometimes it'd be the military, the clerical field, fields of influence. In this case, he became an apprentice to someone who worked for the Mercer's Company in London, which was a fabric and clothing, a textile company, which was, we forget, wool especially was the backbone of the English economy. It was fabulously profitable because it was considered the best cloth in Europe. And I mean, they dealt in other fabrics like silk and velvet, but wool was the staple.
It wasn't merino wool.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything about wool.
Isn't
I know
that
little
in
of
Spain?
it. Other than that, it was a
I
big
don't
deal.
know.
And he worked. Mercer was part of the fabric guild of a guild at the time. Actually, I believe I take that back. The Mercer Company itself, I believe, was a guild. So your different people worked there in families, and it was like a cross between a union, it said, and a kind of a secret society almost. They took care of each other.
Right.
They had secrets. They had connections. They'd put on events, and like unions sometimes do, or historically or do in their best form. They would kind of take care of you when things got down for you. So he was doing very, very well. He was a very successful fabric merchant in this guild, and he was living in London.
Good for Robert.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Work.
In fact, he had risen to the rank of warden in 1527 and 1528. No idea what that means.
Yeah.
But apparently, it's a pretty big deal.
It's all a prison.
I don't think it was that kind of a warden, but it was a good thing. Though guilds at this time, many of them had religious links. There was some church or chapel or whatnot, which, though, in that time, everything was very religious. But as you might recall, King Henry was having a problem with the Catholic Church.
I was going to say, ain't this around the time of turmoil within the church?
Yes. He wanted that nice, sweet
Was
divorce.
that always turmoil?
I was going to say, when was there not? Yeah, this motherfucker.
You don't remember, but right, you
hate
must
him.
have seen some show about that, right? Where he's going to divorce his wife, Catherine of Aragon. Is that right? Do I have
Yes.
that right?
I believe so.
And because she couldn't bear him a child, so you're out. I want a son. I need an heir. Ironically, he'd wind up, the person who'd succeed him eventually would be his daughter, but still, he
Shows you,
yeah.
Henry.
But there's also this time a rise in anti-clericalism beyond just the king wanting a divorce. It was, I mean, the Catholic Church, you have to remember, was
Protestant.
crazy corrupt. Protestantism is a thing now, but
revolution.
there wasn't by 1520. I mean, it was brand new. The 95 Theses was like
was gonna say,
1517, so it's
never
really a
mind.
new thing. There wasn't a sense of Protestantism. But even so, people who agreed with Martin Luther and wanted to reform the church still thought of themselves as Catholic, as Robert Pakington did. But he was a rabid reformer. He really hated all the bullshit that the church hierarchy did. I mean, he become really just, there was indulgences and just a massively corrupt institution. There's no,
Yikes.
sorry, not trying to inflame any Catholics out there, but there's no question that the medieval church was insanely corrupt.
Yeah, I think they know that now.
Yeah, and abused his power horrifically. So, and this kind of thought was bubbling up at the time, and in England, so again, it went beyond just people. It wasn't just Henry wanted a divorce. There's a lot of people in England at the time who wanted to reform the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
wanted to be different. So, Robert was part of that. Especially in that merchant class, there's a lot of that thought in the merchant class. A lot of anti-hierarchy, anti-clericalism, and part of that was from in 1514. A guy named Robert Hunn. He was a tailor, a merchant tailor. He was accused of heresy.
Uh-oh.
The reason for that accusal was that he would not pay a church fee for his baby's burial robe. So your baby died. We're going to compound that by give us some money.
Oh.
Jesus.
For his burial robe. He said, go fuck yourself. The Catholic Church says, I don't think so. So he was arrested, and he was found hung in his cell under very suspicious circumstances.
Wow.
Epstein.
Epstein? Oh, okay, yeah. Very much like something like that.
Yeah, he's the Epstein of 14.
But he wasn't a pedophile, so that's
as far as we know.
I don't think so. And to top it off, the authorities then burnt his corpse because
Jesus.
he committed a crime by not paying that burial fee for his baby that died.
Wow.
So
Oh my
God.
didn't help the church's reputation there from a lot, especially, again, merchants were there's a lot of merchants in on this reform movement at the time.
Yeah. And they all probably knew each other and worked together, and they were like, bitch, you just burned my friend.
Yeah, Pakington may have known Robert Hunt. It's not clear. At the very least, he knew of him and was, in the same circles.
Yeah. That's not very nice of you, Mr. Catholic.
No.
Who was it? Pope Clement?
I have no idea.
Pope.
Or maybe one of the 15 misnamed Pope Innocents.
Yeah.
Like,
Very
know what?
true.
No one should do that.
Pope.
None of you were that innocent.
Beneviento. I don't know. I'm just making it up.
He started writing articles that were, again, very anti-clerical. But I stress to point out, he considered himself a Catholic till the day he died and was just trying to make things better. Pakington was elected to Parliament in October 1533, re-elected again in 1536, and he then moved his reformism into Parliament and spoke against the church many times, quite eloquently, it is
Wow.
said.
Wow, that's probably real controversial.
It was, but again, it wasn't. There was many people like this. He wasn't like the only guy. He wasn't like the main anti-clerical person by any stretch, and he wasn't doing anything that could get him burnt or hung either.
Be careful.
Yeah,
You don't
that's
always
true.
have to do something that's worthy of it to get the punishment.
That's for sure. He lived at this time in an area of London called Westcheap, which, by the way, come on, some city out there, rename yourself Westcheap.
Yeah.
It is now known as Cheapside, which I'm not sure is much better. In fact, I think it's worse.
Where do you
fucking
live?
love-
I live on the cheap side.
No. It's just Cheapside. Thank you very much.
Well, I would say it. The
Would you?
cheap side.
Just to
yes.
make it sound even worse, the place you live. Okay.
Yep.
English city names.
Yeah, take pride.
Cheapside.
Yeah.
Cheap actually is just the Middle English word for market. So it doesn't mean anything like what we think.
Oh.
It's just market. West Market, market side. That's all it meant. Because that area of London was like the main fabric market place of the time. And it had been for a long, long time. If you wanted a fabric, that's where you went. They got the people up there. They sell you stuff. You can buy your fabric, your velvet, your wool, your silk, not your cotton.
Velvet wasn't a thing yet.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, sure it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. They had the piles.
Yeah.
Yeah, Karen and I were talking about, I can't remember what connection we were talking about cotton, how cotton is
How
actually
did they have cotton?
semi-new. As a mass textile was really not until the cotton gin. I mean, they had cotton in the 1700s, right? But it really became just the big thing in the 1800s.
Well, my question was, did they grow cotton there? And
I don't think
Probably
so.
not.
I'm not
So-
positive, but I think cotton became a big thing in the United States, in the South.
So I asked about
Cotton.
linens and what did they use for their sheets and their tablecloths
Hemp,
and all
Wool.
that
kind
kind
of
of
rough,
stuff.
but
Honestly, probably.
canvas.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't.
Burlap.
Their sheets and toilet paper were
I didn't
canvas.
Google it to see, but
Toilet paper.
You
think
know they had-
You think they wiped their ass?
No.
the ladies had hankies and stuff like that. They would have been, wouldn't they have been made out of?
Chiffon.
I truly
did
don't
they
know.
make them
Silk.
out of?
Let's go with grass.
Silk. You're probably right.
Would've been
Silk.
silk. For
Silk.
hankies
That's why
and
they
stuff like
washed
that.
them and used them over again. They didn't just throw that shit away.
You don't
Worm.
throw away cotton hankies either.
I feel like I would. So
oh my god!
I've never used one in my life.
He would also
Well,
throw away
no
fucking cotton
kidding.
diapers. Do it all wrong.
Damn right I would. I throw the baby along with it. Ugh, gross. Now we are up to the moment of truth. It's November 13th, 1536. Robert lived, by the way, right across the street from the chapel that the Mercer's Company frequented and had an affiliation with. It's right across the street. So you just had to walk across the street.
Sure.
Or just a short distance down the street, I believe. So he said bye to his wife, Catherine, and his 5 children.
Too many.
And he started to cross the street to go to the chapel. He found, however, that the street had been blocked. A man who was driving a cart was having some kind of a trouble and wasn't moving along, was blocking the street right in front of Robert's house. Robert went up to him and was like, "What's going on here?" The man turned to Robert and said, "Are you Robert Pakington?"
Uh-oh.
Robert, he was a merchant. He was fairly well known. People knew him. He did business all the time. So he said, "Yeah, I'm Robert Pakington." Made me think, I'm going to make me a sale. Weird coincidence. The man, however, turned back to his cart, which is full of hay, and he kind of leaned into the haystack and pulled something out from under the haystack, turned it around, and fired off a single shot into Robert's head, killing him instantly. The thing the cartman had pulled out was a wheel-lock handgun.
Don't know what that is.
No.
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
Hysteria, it was very loud, so the whole block heard it. Neighbors and bystanders came rushing out. What's going on here? But it was a very misty, foggy morning. So the guy...
When is it not over there?
It's London, but this was even more, it's a pretty foggy day. So this guy took off into the fog, just left his cart and ran off and disappeared pretty quickly. Authorities, it's not police as we would know it now, but authorities came and started talking to these quasi-witnesses, and they gave really conflicting accounts, what he looked like, and even which direction he fled in was uncertain. The authorities issued a, quote, great reward, spelled Gretrewarde. So, again, spelling was optional.
Great reward. That's how you got to say it.
No one ever claimed that reward, and the man was never discovered who he was.
Wow.
Boom.
The wheel-lock handgun, you ask. That was only developed around 1500, and it was weird. It had a big wheel on it, and it was fired a little bit like you would light a cigarette, like a cigarette lighter. You'd pull back on, like you'd spin this wheel against pyrite to ignite a spark, and that spark would instantly charge and
To the
send the
gunpowder?
bullet. Yeah, to gunpowder, and so it was a very quick one. You could do it with one hand, which was
I see what
unheard
you
of at the
do.
time. Other small guns took two hands to get to pack stuff in. It was a process to get those things loaded. Basically, your guns were one shot, and this was a one-shot gun, but it was quicker, and it could be done with one hand. It was
Yeah.
much, much easier to use than other, semi-handguns of the time. So, therefore, it was kind of considered just the perfect weapon to do what it was used in this case, to murder someone in an urban area in close confines, and then
Assassination.
to get away really, really
Yeah.
quickly. In fact, it was noticed by other assassins later on, and the wheel-lock handgun would be used not too long thereafter to assassinate William the Silent and the Francis Duke of Guise.
Well,
So-
I imagine this would have been a very expensive.
You hit the nail.
Weapon.
It was very small too, by the way,
Yeah.
so it could easily be hidden.
Okay.
Yeah, just in a coat or something like that, which is again also
Yeah.
unheard of. But yes, you're not wrong. It was incredibly expensive. They all those things that made them so good meant they were very, very expensive.
Yeah.
They were
Yeah.
very tough to make. Expert blacksmith? What would make that?
Gunsmith.
Yeah.
There we go. Only expert gunsmiths can make them. And even then, they were known to be, they could malfunction
Wow.
and be dangerous. But if they're made well,
makes sense.
they were extremely efficient, useful weapons. And in this case, it worked all too perfectly well. So, why? What's going on here? John, I'll do this real quickly, but John Bale, he was a Protestant reformer. He thought that he was murdered by a conspiracy of conservative Catholics who wanted this reformer silenced. It was
Yeah.
essentially an assassination.
Yeah.
Some people thought that it was an Italian who had been hired to do it
no.
as the assassin. The reason was because Italian gunsmiths were the best in Europe at the time. So they thought maybe he brought the gun from Italy, and that would make an Italian assassin. The counter argument to this is that Robert really wasn't that different. Other people were saying what he was saying. He wasn't the big cheese in the anti-clerical movement that much, but it's not impossible. Clearly, though, the death was an assassination.
Yeah.
There's no question. It
sure.
was planning. They appeared to have planned on the day. It's a good day. It's going to be nice and foggy. They must have known his schedule when he would come out to go to church. They spent a lot of money to get this weapon or get someone who did have this weapon.
And also apparently a cart
Yeah.
they could just abandon.
Yeah.
They set up a cart. That's true, but they set up a cart as an obvious
Decoy or
as
whatever.
a
Not a
way to
decoy,
stop him and to find out his identity and have him stopped right in front of you by blocking the street right in front of his house with his car. There's all this pure premeditation. This was an assassination. Some people think it's because he had money. He was actually very wealthy. He left a fortune of 300 pounds.
Yeah, but I mean,
Some serious cash.
what does that mean? Like one of his kids?
That
Or something
no
like
one.
that.
I don't know.
Yeah, I
The sources
doubt
I
it,
read
yeah.
don't just say, "Oh, but he's rich, so maybe it's something to do with that." Well, what then exactly?
He would gain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems. I don't know. I think most likely has something to do with his church
Politics.
works, his politics / religious beliefs
Yeah.
or anti-religious beliefs. The reason I'm telling you about this whole thing, though, because Robert Pakington was the first person
Yeah.
murdered by a handgun.
Oh.
Some sources say I was the first person in England. I cannot find an earlier handgun murder of this sort. I mean, like think of it as a what we now think of as a horrifically everyday occurrence
Yeah.
of someone on a street killing someone with a handgun. He was the
Yeah.
first. He was the worst first. Not a first you want to be, but he was the first. He's not the last, though. In 2019, almost 40,000 people in the United States were killed by handguns. 24,000 of those were suicides. Over 14,000, either 400 or 800, were murders. So nearly 14 to 15,000 people, depending on the source, just a couple of years ago, were murdered in the United States alone by handguns. There are also 115,000 non-fatal firearm injuries in the U.S. every single
Wow.
year.
Boom.
Do you have worldwide statistics?
I don't, but I have some comparisons for you.
Okay.
Killings that involved a gun accounted for nearly 3/4 of all homicides in the U.S.
Jesus.
in 2019. So 3/4 of all, it's 73%. By way of comparison, Canada's same number was 39%. Australia's 22%. England and Wales is 4%. So 4% of murders in England and Wales are by handguns compared to 73% in the United States.
Okay. How many murders do they have?
Not
know
as
what I
many.
mean?
I don't have that stats in front of me, but I've seen those in the past, and a tiny fraction.
Because
Yeah.
people always say, well, if we don't have guns, then,
No.
they'll just stab you or they'll,
No, they won't just stab you. It's a lot
I mean,
easier
they
to kill someone
probably
with a
will.
gun.
Hit
Yeah,
you
they
over the
will,
head
but
with
But you won't
bat.
die.
yeah,
Yeah.
Likely.
or you're much less likely to.
Yeah.
The top 10s of the gun owning countries is the U.S. The U.S. has 120.5 firearms per 100 residents. You heard that right.
Yikes.
More than one per person on average.
I hate that.
That's
And
insane.
per
Where in
resident, every man, woman, and child.
The data I'm looking at here is says per resident. Yeah.
Well, children are residents, so
Yeah.
that's disgusting.
Yemen has 15.8, and they're in a horrific civil war for the last many decades. Serbia, 39. Not exactly a not violent place. I mean, it's just no country comes close to our level of gun ownership. And again, as I mentioned before, the majority of gun deaths are actually suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who you're protecting whom from there?
Yeah.
Everyone.
And of course, obviously, mass shootings are becoming more and more deadly and more frequent, more and more common in the U.S. And depends on, in terms of public opinion, it just depends on what poll when you take it. But generally speaking, most people are in favor of sensible, rational, stricter gun control laws. But every year, the pro-gun lobby outspends the pro-gun control lobby massively. That's starting to change a little bit, in part because of Michael Bloomberg, but this still is a mass. And the NRA has had some financial problems recently, but there's plenty of
In
money coming from
addition to
Putin
other
to help
problems.
out. So right now, only very, very few states have assault weapons bans. It's just basically California, New York, Virginia, and a few other states in the Northeast, and they have bans on assault. Every other state, you can have an AK-47, an AR-15, whatever you want.
Catch up.
And there shows no sign of anything good. I mean, happening anytime soon. We have a mass shooting. Honestly, more than one a week.
Yeah.
Every other day, there's another mass shooting.
We took a little break in 2020 for the global pandemic, but
A little bit, but it's escalated this year. I
Yeah,
mean, it's
I know.
nonstop.
Yeah.
You see it all the time. So that's what I call the worst first. It was the first time someone was killed by a handgun, and poor Robert Pakington had
Yeah.
to be that. He's bad famous. He's unfortunate famous.
Yeah.
well, I don't know how famous he is.
Yeah, I never
He's
heard
actually
Nobody's ever heard of
he's
him.
not super widely known, but in England he is a little bit more well known as the first person in England, at least, killed by a handgun.
Yeah. Well, who's the first person in America killed by a handgun?
I don't know. I
Susie
briefly, I didn't pursue that. I briefly to the source. I didn't find anything very quickly. But
Yeah.
So we had to record. So
Yeah. Huh.
don't know.
Interesting.
yeah, that's the story. We told you it's a weird bit, and it really was for one of the first one of those weird bits that didn't go into a weird episode edition.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.
Bye.